7th. Pretty amazing. Almost 2 years ago, I think it was March 18th, I was traveling back from Denver on a ghost plane, the last plane I was on up till May of 2021, right as COVID started. As we all know, since Russia invaded the Ukraine, COVID is now over. That was just a little joke, just a tiny joke. I was not being political, but COVID's been over in Florida forever. It never started there, but for the rest of us, we did have COVID. And it looks like COVID is winding down right now, which is creating some interesting things. Also, with what is going on in Russia and the Ukraine, which is horrible, is creating some interesting volatility with the market. So today, we have got Clayton Collins from HousingWire on. Always love having Clayton on. Had him on a couple of months ago at the beginning of the year. He's the chief cook and bottle washer, chairman, presidente, whatever you want to call him, of HousingWire. Always has good stuff for you. The man always comes prepared. For those of you new to the Big Joel community call, please watch the chat. Clayton is very good about putting links to articles in there. If he's talking about something specifically, you will definitely see it in there. You will need to go in there and grab it if you want it, because it will go away right when this call is over. And again, you can always email to HousingWire as well. They love interacting with loan officers and real estate agents all day, every day. That's actually part of their job, interacting with us. So just a tiny bit of housekeeping. Again, you all have heard me. I don't want to use the word ranting, but I know I've been making a lot of noise just about the market in general, and especially about interest rates and interest rate volatility. Those of you that have never seen big swings up or down, you're newer to the business, which is pretty crazy. But over the past 10 or 12 years, Clayton can probably keep me honest on this, how long the rates have been extremely low or have traded in a very low range, which means you've always been able to sort of say, oh, I'll just lock that loan tomorrow and never have a problem with it. Or I'll lock that loan later and not have a problem with it. I see Ed Brem is on here. He's old like me, so he has been caught with his pants down plenty of times. Probably Michael Most has as well. With not locking loans quickly enough in a fast-moving market. The war in Russia, or the war in the Ukraine, or the war in Russia/Ukraine sometimes makes the market do very crazy things. A lot of times it actually makes the rates drop, but be very cognizant and very careful. Again, you should be pre-qualing 0.75% to 1% over the going rate. Your agent partner should be on the street knowing they have a deal if they can get their contract through. They should never be coming back to you with a big rate swing and the buyer is freaking out because the rates went up, and either A, they barely qualify, or B, they're freaking out at their new payment and the deal becomes null and void. So do your partners a favor and cover them by making sure you're pre-qualing high. The other trend, real quick, before I get to Clayton, is I want to throw this out there. A lot of times to get offers through, your buyers or your agent partners, buyers, clients are having to write cash offers. And I know a lot of people are playing the cash offer game and then flipping it to financing. And some people are having problems with it. Some people aren't, where you have listing agents really not playing ball, not letting appraisers in properties, things like that, where you really can't play games like that. If you're writing cash, you need to go cash. Make sure your agent partners know, as a takeaway from this call, make sure they understand how cash out refinances work. There's no reason they still shouldn't be thinking about you, even if their buyer is paying cash, everyone. There's no reason they still shouldn't be thinking about you, even if their buyer is paying cash. They should understand that it's still better with the rates where they are for their clients, their buyers, whatever you want to call them, to be using a mortgage to buy the house, because the rates are super low. It's crazy to really pay cash for houses right now, even though people are having to do it. So you'd be surprised how many agents don't even understand how cash out refinance works. And you should explain that to them, because you should be on the phone with their buyers immediately after they close, if they do want to do a cash out refinance. The other trend I'm seeing is loan officers very professional, very good, very technical loan officers. Their business is rising quickly right now. My one-on-one clients that are super LOs, which I think almost every one of them is, their business is going up right now because the agents are realizing they don't have time to mess around with dumbos or people that really don't understand mortgages or understand financing. A lot of times the agents are having to get their buyers to buy their home before they list their current home because the buyers are too scared to list their home. They don't know where they're going to be able to move to. And so there's a lot of creativity that goes into that financing where you're having someone buy their their next home before they sell their initial home. The agents know they're going to have no problem selling that primary that the people are in, but there is finagling and a lot of creativity in getting the people qualified for a mortgage, or maybe even just explaining a margin loan or whatever they're doing so they can either pay cash or use a mortgage on the home they want to move to. So those are just a couple of trends. I'm sure lots of things are going to come up when Clayton takes the mic here. So I'm going to turn it over to Clayton Collins, HousingWire. Clayton, welcome. Glad to see you. Lots of things have happened since you've been on last time, of course. It seems like every time. And love to hear some of your wisdom. Those of you, again, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We will monitor those, and we will make sure they get to Clayton. Clayton, welcome.
Thank you, Joel. Good to see you. It's been a few weeks.
Nice to see you. Exactly.
I like the new Big Joel on-air background there. I think it's the first time I'm noticing that one.
I'm very upset. It's usually on, and for some reason, it just cut off.
Okay,
so, it's usually nice and blue, but thank you. Yeah.
Well, nice. Well, yeah, I think you hit on a lot of the topics that we've been thinking about and writing about in the last few weeks. I think one of the themes that everyone here is fully aware of that just continues to fully drive the market is this inventory crisis. And it's inventory is driving everything that happens in mortgage and real estate right now, from the products that are seeing traction and where we're seeing product level growth to the activities that real estate agents and brokers are undertaking, and what's going on with home price appreciation. And one of the data points that really caught my eye over the last few days has been 2022 projections for home price appreciation, which if you looked at the NBA data and a lot of other economist reports from Q4 and the beginning of 2022, looked at a much more kind of stagnated home price appreciation environment in 2022. But as prices continue to rip forward because of low inventory and competitive markets, there's economists now that are starting to think we might be facing another year with 15% home price appreciation, which is nuts, but and could be devastating to a lot of first-time home buyers. I still have trouble taking off like the homeowner hat and saying like, yeah, I don't mind seeing our real estate increase by 15% in value. But when you think about what it does to those of us in the housing industry, it could really put a damper on more inventory coming to market, really put a damper on volume. And it's just kind of wild to see this home price appreciation keep ripping forward.
Also,
it's
Clayton,
all driven by the themes of demographics and household formation.
And, there's another little piece there too. It's more than that. It's the companies that everyone works for on this call, straight up just profitability. I mean, the govies are way down. Loan officers that normally do 38, 35% of their business govies, they're 10%. And the reason they're 10% is the agents cannot get the govies through. So, it's weird. I was, number one, on the back of the house, obviously there's more profit in a government loan for sure to pay for LOAs and technology and all kinds of cool stuff. And of course, loan officers, they're not dropping their comp anytime soon. So the big companies, bottom lines are taking a big hit with this. But the other theme, Clayton, which is so interesting, and I'd love to know if you've heard anything about this, but everyone, you throw around the term sort of discrimination very loosely, and most people look at it like a certain class as being discriminated against, being the box you check on the 1003. But this is interesting. This is a across the board discrimination based on the loan program that you choose. Okay, and it's crazy, and these people are just locked out. I mean, the fact that a veteran, these people that are sitting in Poland right now watching what's going on, can't get their contract through is sad. I mean, it's crazy. And I don't know if people are talking about that or there's going to be relief there. I find the main reason is the real estate agents are not educated on that type of financing. And they don't even know how to talk their sellers through. But I don't want to steal where you're going with this, but I wanted to throw that in because it's right on topic, what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it's we're definitely seeing shifts in product really quickly. I mean, if you talked about large IMBs, and I've heard of kind of some digests from town halls and kind of company wide announcements, and there's large IMBs that are seeing their 2020 or Q1 2022 volume kind of sitting at about 33% of what they saw in Q1 2021. Primarily, a lot of that's driven by a complete fall off in refi, but there's also a component of that where purchase isn't quite moving quite as quickly as many lenders had hoped in 2022 because of complete lack of inventory. And when real estate agents are choosing between 25, 30, 40 offers in some markets, I know it's hear anecdotes of 75 or 100, it's about cash, it's about certainty of close, and that creates a lot of room for the rumor mill or the old stereotypes on what type of lending products are have the highest certainty of close or best for a seller. And I definitely have seen an uptick in the mortgage originator community making a concerted effort to educate the real estate agent and brokerage world on VA lending, as it seems like the VA programs are really taking a hit in this super competitive market.
Yeah, and they're getting smart. Yeah, I know a loan officer that just got one through because the sellers were veterans, and the agent explained it to him, and the VA contract is the one that went through. Because it actually got explained to them, look, you're sort of your brothers in arms or brothers and sisters in arms here can't buy houses because they're trying to use VA financing, and the seller literally chose that contract, which I thought was interesting and not surprising at all. I'm glad it happened. It's a great buyer. It's just they're using 100% financing. Good for them. Doesn't really matter. So Clayton, the other thing on inventory, I know you always like to hear what's going on in my world. With the exception of the big crazy cities, Tampa, Boise, Nashville, the big mover and shaker. Actually, there's more places in Florida now that are just taking incoming. Like, I think people are parachuting in there with suitcases to move to Florida. At the same time, I'm seeing and hearing, when I'm talking to brokers, meaning brokers of record, the broker for a big real estate office, they got a lot of stuff projected to come on at the end of March. The agents, there's a lot of noise, a lot of whispering. Now, as we know, a lot of these houses are being sold as pocket listings, so you're not even seeing them before they're gone, even though a pocket listing is technically illegal unless you do it a certain way, and then it's still sort of unethical. But they're hopeful that they're really going to see some things start to come on. Tampa and Boise and Nashville and a couple other areas, they're still just, house comes on and there's 9,000 offers on it and it's going for 200 grand over, and it's like just a joke.
Yeah. The days of a listing price being what a homeowner hopes to get are long gone. Now their actual expected outcome is higher than listing. So, Joel, that brings up a couple interesting topics. So the wave of inventory that's forecasted for spring 2022, I think a lot of that's going to move before it actually hits the MLS, and the brokerages that are winning listings right now, especially at the high end of the market, are winning those listings under the premise that sellers won't have to go through the pain of open houses, and like they very may well have a seller inside or have a buyer inside of their brokerage who's kind of teed up before it even goes live. And no matter what the kind of the regulation is on pocket listings, that kind of discreetly marketed property is rip raring to go in existing home sales, but also in new home construction. And while we don't think that new home construction has a chance at being like the saving grace for the low inventory market, it certainly aids in that process. But home builders across the country are also holding inventory back and not releasing, not selling until the house is drywalled and ready to go to avoid any customizations. And they're also sitting on VIP wait lists that are much longer than any home building market has ever seen. So there's parts of Charlotte where there's homes with like 55 unit communities that have 1,000 people on a VIP wait list. And there's a very high likelihood that all 55 of those homes that are actually sold are going to go through the builder's mortgage company. So there's it's hairy.
Yeah. I've been telling people I've never seen anything like this before. I've been around just for a little bit, and I've never seen an inventory market. I've been telling the loan officers, Clayton, how to gauge their productivity. If their phone is ringing and they're doing pre-quals, there's nothing else they can do but become a developer and build product that they can do loans on. I mean, they can't control the inventory, and if your phone's ringing and the agents are calling you and you're pre-qualing people and pre-approving people, then you're good. If your phone's not ringing, you got a big problem. The people that work with me one-on-one are extremely busy. I mean, they've got a lot of people ready to roll as soon as the market breaks. The other piece is, there's a lot of consoling and just talking going on with our agent partners, because they're just stressed out of their minds, and everyone is working really, really hard. The agents are writing tons of offers. Loan officers are doing tons of pre-approvals. I mean, it's amazing how hard everyone is working. But I will say, Clayton, I'm not going to call people out on this call or whatever, but look, a lot of the people I work with there, they still closed 25, 30 loans last month. And there was only a couple of refis in there. I mean, they work with very good agents, and those agents are busy and they dig in, and the loan officers are very good loan officers. So, like you've heard me talking about, you always laugh when I talk about, the gorilla factor. We're going to see it huge coming here. People are going to fall off. I've been telling small groups, the chance of you buying your next car from an ex-loan officer is pretty high.
And it's not just because their volume drops. It's also kind of because the job just got harder for lower producing originators. So the big IMBs that are seeing volume come in at a fraction of what it was in 2021, they're reducing headcount in all operations roles, which means more weight falls to the loan officer, especially the lower producing loan officers who don't have kind of VIP internal status of getting the best processors and best pods supporting them in their efforts.
And most of those people, Clayton, unfortunately didn't know what they were doing anyway. They were throwing the loans at LOAs who are now ripped. And then the LOA, they don't even have access to an LOA, or they have access to a good LOA, and those LOAs are looking at them like, Junior, don't hand me that. Nothing's in this file. Like, go do your job and bring it back, and they don't know what to do. So it's a unique opportunity for good professional loan officers to literally aggressively take market share. I mean, really take market share right now.
It seems like the other big opportunity is kind of expanding product capabilities. So you mentioned cash out refi. 2021 was the highest cash out refi market since 2005. Over 1.2 trillion in cash out refis were originated in 2021. Wow. 20% over the prior year. And in Q4 alone, an additional 445 billion in tappable home equity became available. And if we're talking about another year where home price appreciation runs in the double digits, that tappable home equity is going to keep growing at that 500 billion per quarter mark. That creates an increasing opportunity for cash out. So cash out's one where there has been incredible opportunity that continues to increase. We're also seeing a ton of growth in the non-QM market. So in 2022, about 20 billion of non-QM volume was originated, and that's projected to hit 80 to 100 billion in 2022. So that's some through focus. People are focusing more on non-QM as the vanilla purchase gets harder. But there's an opportunity in non-QM, and it seems like that market continues to get hotter. And finally, we're also seeing a lot of positive signs and growth in reverse. which is an area that demographics told us was going to get hotter and hotter over time. But we're seeing volume increase in reverse, and we're also seeing capital come to reverse. One of the larger reverse lenders, Longbridge, who used to be partially owned by Home Point, sold to another investor last week. Ellington Financial making a big bet on continued growth in the reverse mortgage market. So it seems like some of the extending the product set into non-QM and reverse and home cash out seems to be opportunities that kind of deepen the well.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, think about your maybe you're 65, 70 years old, you're starting to not work as much. You own your home and you've watched this market, right? And your home 3 years ago was worth $600,000. Now it's worth $900 or whatever. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, we were going to sell the house and we were going to move here, but even moving there is going to cost more. Okay, I mean, it makes so much sense that reverse mortgages would be in vogue right now, because it's just the market is, I mean, it just makes a ton of sense because there's a ton of equity in these houses. And a lot of these people, almost own their houses outright anyway. But now, from a leverage perspective, from a lender, if it's Clayton Joel Mortgage and we're doing these deals, we're in an even better position because the LTVs are naturally lower because of how much equity is in the home. So it's an even better deal for the market at the same time.
And so I think the other kind of dynamic we have playing out right now is multiple years in a row with double-digit home price appreciation. There's a little bit of a consumer mindset that shifts away from like, oh, this was a one-time COVID deal to housing in the United States is just getting more expensive. And for decades, home price growth in the US has been slower than other developed economies. And so you have homeowners who are gaining confidence and, okay, my house might actually be worth this much. And this equity I have in my house was a smart decision that I made. And so paying up for that next house is becoming more palatable, where I think a year ago there was more fear in stepping up from that starter home to the larger family home or forever home. So there's some consumer confidence inside of the existing homeowner base that is changing. Can't say the same for first-time home buyers who still are hoping for their 2009 scenario.
Yeah, and it's amazing too, Clayton, how many loan officers that I come across that still don't know how to pencil sell. I mean, if they have a pen and a calculator and a piece of paper, they can't really teach a buyer or even an agent partner, why, even though you're paying maybe X percentage more for your new home, look at where the rates are. Let's look at the cost of money. What it's really about is your payment, not the number on that new home. And if you're trading what I'll call funny money equity on the home you're selling into the new home, that you think might be overpriced, what it's really all about is your payment. What are you borrowing? What's your payment? There's no other game but that. And it's amazing how many loan officers really don't understand that. And when you can show an agent how you can be a part of their team with their clients and really teach them that you can make deals for agents, you can create listings by being able to really explain that to a potential seller. And again, big glut in the market for that of loan officers that really know how to do it. I think a lot of people on this call know how to do that. And they're probably winning deals left and right all over the place because of that.
Yeah. So that's it on the economic updates, Joel. The one last thing I'll kind of flag is we are seeing continued adoption of new technology tools as volume comes down. So lenders searching for efficiency and also have a little bit of bandwidth in their teams are adopting and changing technology tools and platforms, which I think is something that no matter what your role in the industry is, will impact you in some way. And hopefully it's in the way that you have better technology that you're willing to learn and adapt to, because that change is continuing forward.
Interesting. Yeah. It's, as you saw, I don't know whether it was Tim Cook, whether it was Apple, just came out with, April 9th, back to the office, people. That's it. Game over. And then you're seeing Google, saying, okay, we need you in the office 3 days a week. And, we're seeing all this happen. I think for us in the real estate and mortgage community, what would look like, the end of time and doom and gloom in March and April of 2020. Then in May, everyone kind of looked up and went, wait, what is happening here? One of the biggest byproducts is not all the money we made in the second homes and the cool cars we bought. It's really the advent of technology that had been sitting there forever, that lenders and developers were forced to not just create, sometimes Clayton just use, that it's sitting on a shelf. They weren't even using it. And then they were forced to use it. And now, yay for us, we get to keep using it. It doesn't matter whether we go in the office or not. We get to keep using it, which is really cool. So Clayton, anything else on your Joel hit list?
Yeah, those are the big items. I think we're gonna keep hitting the inventory dead horse for a while here. I hope we see a spring rush of inventory, but it's the market for the loan originator that has staying power and expertise and enough realtor relationships and a big enough referral network to drive through the low inventory market and hopefully see greater opportunity on the other side as the weaker players get flushed out. So, this is the market for the strong. And I think that can be exciting if you have the gut for it.
Yeah. And you put your head down and you pound through. And my bet is the market looks differently as far as number of licensed loan officers on the street, probably in September or, right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be very different, but it doesn't necessarily mean, and I think a lot of loan officers' market share is going to go up. It doesn't mean everyone's going to float down. I'm already seeing, I have loan officers, Clayton, that I work with that had bigger Februaries than they had last year, which is a big statement right there. You close more units in 2022 February than you closed in 2021, which was arguably should have been a massive February. That is happening out there, which is super cool. Clayton, tell us about
homes are trading. Like the houses are selling. They're just selling fast, and so the real estate agents they're going to refer all their business to the best and fastest with the highest, most creative with get the highest certainty of close. So it probably is a market where the strong players win and the weak get flushed, and that's already happening in the real estate agent world even faster because the newer, weaker agents, they just aren't getting listings, and they're done. So
it's all about
local NAR chapters are seeing numbers decline.
Yeah, what it's all about, Clayton, and what I've been talking about in my groups and all my one-on-one stuff is it's all about contract to close right now. The best loan officers are whaling loans through in 10 days contract to close. Yep. It's because they're ready before they're all use my BICPP system and they're ready. I mean, their files, they're like order the appraisal, get the contract, title work, close. There's no conditions on there. Clayton, what I know you guys have something new that loan officers can sign up for or whatever. I know it's free, which everyone likes. What do you have going on right now? Is it called Lending Life? Is it, tell everyone just quickly, and then maybe you could put it in the chat so people could see it?
Yeah, Lending Life is our newsletter focused exclusively on loan origination. We've been doing it for close to 3 years right now. I used to be the editor, but now I got a team of people running it, and it's 4 times a week, new content focused exclusively on the topics that we believe are important in the loan origination ecosystem. So give it a read, reply to the editor, and tell James how smart or how brilliant or not you think he is, and give him some tips and ideas.
So those of you that work with me closely know that it's always about BASOI. That's for Pat Casey if he's on here, and that's just be a source of information at all times. One of the things about HousingWire that's interesting, I don't own HousingWire and I'm not being paid to say this, by the way. I want to make sure this is clear with you, is that being a source of information with your partners is huge, and it's good. Constantly giving them info, whether it's them info for them or them info for them to give to their clients. The thing about HousingWire, the reason I love having Clayton on here, and I have a relationship with them, is because they actually want to hear what you're saying. So if you want an article about something interesting, even that you want to pump out to your agent partners, they will write it. They'll look at it and go, huh, that is interesting. Okay, we'll write that, because they know if you want it, there are probably going to be a lot more people interested in it than just you, especially coming from my community, which is a big community of very professional loan officers. So, they know if you ask a good question, they will go get on it. It creates content for them. This is a win-win, by the way. It creates content for them, and it's something you can turn around and spin right out to your referral partners, or maybe people you've closed loan for, or you can use, the same way you all would maybe take one of my podcasts and you would take the link and text it to an agent partner and say, hey, check out Joel's interview with this agent. It might be cool for your business. It's the same exact concept. It's just more content. So it's in the chat, everyone. If you didn't catch it, it's pretty easy to find HousingWire online or to find Clayton, but it's in there. I'm sure you can turn it off if you think it's trash, but I already know it's not trash. You sign up, I'm sure you can turn it off. Don't worry about flooding your inbox. I don't see anything in the chat right now. Everyone, I just want you to know, if you don't have 5 B2Bs booked for this week, that is a fail, people. Fail with a capital F. If you do not have at least 5 B2Bs booked for this week, okay? You need to be out there. For some reason, loan officers now think it's a good idea to talk to agents. I don't know why they woke up and thought that was a good idea. I'm sure it's because they're done doing all their refis and sitting on their ass looking at second homes. Okay, so now they think, ooh, I'm going to go talk to some agents. Make sure you're in front of those agents when they come, because we all know, those of you that are engaged with me, we know those other loan officers are approaching the agents the completely wrong way. So you're always going to look way better anyway, but you need to be out there. You really need to be out there. And the agents are annoyed right now. They're disappointed. They are working extremely hard, and they need our support, even if it's just mental support, not just really helping their clients. Of course, they need that. And they need you being creative and knowing what you're doing, but they really need some good partnership help right now, because they are burning out really fast. And they've got buyers looking at them and going, what? I just wrote 27 different offers. It's enough already. I'm just not going to buy anymore. Okay. And there's nothing more frustrating than that for an agent. Of course, everyone knows this. Agents don't get base salaries, so they are working, for closings, and they're pretty fried right now. So you should be doing a lot of B2Bs with your agent partners. Clayton Collins coming in hot from DFW. I think I know that background. Thank you so much for coming on. We always love having you on. Everyone else, time to kick some ass. Let's get out there. Spring has sprung. It is definitely the spring market. I bet 2 months from now, you're going to be singing a different tune as far as inventory goes, but you need to be out there to make it happen. Clayton, thank you very much. We'll talk to everybody soon.